Have you ever sat down with a meal you used to love, maybe a bowl of your favorite soup, or a slice of your family's classic meatloaf, and thought, why does this taste bland? Not bad, just dull. Like someone turned the volume down on your taste buds, and now every bite feels like it's missing something. You check the salt. You add a little pepper. You even try hot sauce. But still, nothing wakes it up. If that sounds familiar, you're not imagining things. It's not the recipe. It's not your cooking. And no, you haven't suddenly forgotten how to enjoy food. What's happening is something many people over 65 experience, but very few talk about: the quiet fading of taste. Now here's the thing. Losing a little taste sensitivity with age is actually pretty common. But it doesn't always happen the same way for everyone. And more importantly, it's not just about enjoying meals. Your sense of taste, and closely related, your sense of smell, is deeply connected to your health, your safety, your nutrition, and even your emotional well-being. In this video, we're going to gently explore why your food might not taste the way it used to, and what your body could be trying to tell you through that change. Because sometimes, it's more than just age. Sometimes, it's a sign of something deeper. Let's start with one of the biggest and most overlooked reasons for taste loss after 65, medications. You'd be amazed how many common prescriptions can dull your taste without any obvious warning. Blood pressure pills, antidepressants, antihistamines, even certain cholesterol drugs. They don't all wipe out your sense of taste, but they can shift it, dull it, or even give food a strange metallic aftertaste. I remember talking with a woman named Joni, 72. She told me she stopped enjoying coffee. It started tasting like coins, she said with a laugh. Turns out, she'd recently started a new diuretic for her blood pressure. Her doctor confirmed it was a known side effect. When they adjusted her dosage, the coffee started tasting like coffee again. Simple as that. The tricky part is, most of us don't think to blame our medications. We just assume it's age. But your doctor might have options. If you're noticing food doesn't taste right anymore, and especially if the change was sudden, it's worth having a conversation. There could be another version of that medication. Or a dose that's easier on your taste buds. And trust me, your enjoyment of food is worth speaking up about. Another possible cause? Dry mouth. Now that might sound minor, but let me explain why it matters more than you think. Saliva does more than keep your mouth moist. It actually helps dissolve the chemicals in food that create flavor. When you don't have enough saliva, your taste buds don't get fully activated. Everything tastes weaker, like the flavor is locked away and your tongue can't find it. Dry mouth can be caused by dehydration, medications, certain health conditions, or even just breathing through your mouth at night. And if you're waking up with a sticky mouth, needing to sip water during meals, or finding it harder to swallow dry foods, that could be a sign. The fix here is simple but important. Drink more water, especially during meals. Talk to your doctor or dentist about dry mouth rinses or products that stimulate saliva. And be mindful of how much caffeine and alcohol you consume. They can dry you out without you noticing. Now, let's touch on something a little more subtle, but incredibly common: the natural reduction in taste buds over time. It starts gradually, usually around your 50s or 60s, and by the time you're in your 70s, you may have fewer taste buds than you did in your younger years. That means the flavors you once found vibrant now feel muted. Sweet, salty, bitter, they're all still there, but they don't jump out like they used to. But here's what makes that tricky. When flavors feel dull, many people start adding more sugar or salt just to taste something. That's a dangerous trap, especially if you're managing high blood pressure, diabetes, or kidney issues. I once met a man named Carlos, 68, who said, "I have to drown my food in hot sauce or I don't even know I'm eating." He laughed, but he also admitted he'd started using twice as much salt. His doctor later told him his sodium levels were off the charts. So what can you do instead? Try using herbs and spices to boost flavor without salt. Add texture, crunch, creaminess, heat. Mix up your meals with foods that stimulate different parts of the tongue. And most of all, avoid the temptation to overseason just to feel something. Your health is worth more than an extra pinch of salt. Now let me pause here and ask you something gently. When was the last time you truly enjoyed a meal, not just ate it, but really savored it? If that question brings up a little sadness, that's okay. You're not alone. So many people over 65 quietly stop enjoying food and don't know why. They lose weight without trying. They start skipping meals. Eating becomes more of a task than a pleasure. And that's not just a physical loss, it's an emotional one. Because food is more than fuel. It's memory. It's tradition. It's joy. And when you lose the connection to that joy, you might find yourself feeling more tired, more withdrawn, even a little depressed. That's why paying attention to your taste, your ability to enjoy, matters more than people realize. Let's take a moment to really sit with that idea, how losing your sense of taste is more than just a dull meal. It can change how you connect with your past, your culture, your family. I've met folks who used to love cooking for their kids, grandkids, neighbors, but now they don't even want to be in the kitchen. What's the point, they say. And that breaks my heart. Because the point isn't just the food, it's the comfort. The connection. The pleasure of a warm bite of something you made with love. So what else might be quietly dulling that pleasure? Let's talk about something that most people don't connect to taste at all: smell. Did you know that nearly 80% of what we taste is actually coming from our sense of smell? It's true. That's why when you have a cold, everything tastes bland. You lose your sense of smell, and suddenly, food turns flat. Now imagine that happening slowly, over time, without even realizing it. That's exactly what happens to many people over 65. The nerves and receptors in the nose just don't work as efficiently anymore. And the worst part? You may not even notice it's happening. That's what happened to Helen. She's 75 now, and she told me she didn't realize she'd lost much of her sense of smell until she burned a pan of garlic on the stove and couldn't smell a thing. That moment was a wake-up call. She'd been adding more and more salt to her food, trying to chase flavor, when really, it was her nose, not her tongue, that had gone quiet. Why does this matter? Because losing your sense of smell doesn't just affect taste, it can also be dangerous. You may not smell gas, or spoiled food, or even smoke. But beyond the risks, there's the loss of joy. The smell of coffee brewing. Fresh bread. Garlic in the pan. These little sensory pleasures are part of what make life feel rich. If you've noticed food doesn't taste like it used to, and you've also found that you can't smell flowers, perfumes, or even cleaning products very well, it's worth mentioning to your doctor. Sometimes it's just age. But sometimes, it's a sign of other issues, like nasal polyps, chronic sinus infections, or even neurological changes. Early detection matters. There's one more hidden reason I want to bring up today. And it might surprise you. It's oral health. Yep, your teeth, your gums, even your dentures can all affect how food tastes, and whether you enjoy eating it at all. Think about it. If your gums are inflamed, or your mouth is sore, or your dentures don't fit quite right, you're less likely to chew properly. That means you don't release as much flavor from your food. You might also avoid certain textures, like crunchy veggies or chewy meats. That narrows your diet and limits your nutritional intake. And even if your mouth doesn't hurt, bacteria in the mouth can coat the tongue and interfere with taste signals. Some people actually notice a fuzzy tongue or a white coating when they haven't brushed or cleaned their mouth well. That coating can literally block your taste buds. So if food's been tasting dull lately, take a look in the mirror. Ask yourself, when was your last dental checkup? Are you cleaning your tongue? Are you brushing your dentures or rinsing your mouth daily? Simple fixes, like improved dental hygiene, tongue scraping, or better fitting dentures, can sometimes bring taste back almost immediately. It's incredible how many people rediscover flavor just by giving their mouth a little more care. But let me say something very clearly here. You are not being picky if you say food tastes different now. You are not imagining things. And you absolutely deserve to enjoy the act of eating. Even if your body has changed. Even if your taste buds are quieter. Even if your meals look a little different now than they did 20 years ago, you still deserve flavor. You still deserve to look forward to food. And it's never too late to get that back. Maybe it starts with asking your doctor to review your meds. Or improving hydration and saliva flow. Or using a few herbs in place of salt. Maybe it's trying new textures. Eating more mindfully. Sharing meals again. You don't need to go back to how things were, you just need to find what works for you now. And if that means experimenting a little, that's okay. Maybe you try new recipes. Maybe you go back to old favorites. Maybe you even invite someone over for a little taste test, because joy in food doesn't always come from the food itself. Sometimes, it comes from the people you share it with. I want you to know this, you're not losing your joy in food because you're getting old. You're only losing it if you give up on the idea that flavor still belongs to you. But you can reclaim it, even if it looks a little different now. So if today's meal tasted bland, don't just toss it aside. Ask yourself why. Get curious. Your body may be telling you something. And listening now could bring back more than just taste. It could bring back connection, satisfaction, even a little spark of delight. Maybe what you're tasting right now isn't just food. Maybe it's the season of your life. One with quieter flavors, slower mornings, and different routines. But just because life has changed doesn't mean you have to accept less joy at the table. In fact, this might be the perfect moment to rediscover what food means to you, without pressure, without rules, just with care. We've talked about some of the common culprits behind dull taste, medications, dry mouth, reduced smell, oral health. But here's something just as important that often goes completely unnoticed: mood and mindset. That's right, how you feel emotionally can dramatically change how food tastes. When you're down, anxious, lonely, or simply stuck in a rut, your appetite fades. Your body produces less saliva. You don't chew as well. You stop caring whether your food has flavor or not. It all blends together, day after day, meal after meal. And over time, it becomes easy to believe the food is the problem, when really, it might be something deeper. Think about it. How many times have you sat in front of a meal, picked at it, and felt nothing? Not hunger. Not satisfaction. Just a kind of numbness. That's not just physical, it's emotional. I once knew a man named Leo. He was 78 and had always loved cooking. He made his wife breakfast every morning for 50 years. After she passed, he told me, "I still make the eggs. But they don't taste like anything anymore." At first, he thought his taste buds were dying off. But the truth was, he was grieving. And with that grief came a disconnection, from food, from joy, from the little things that used to give his day rhythm. When he started talking about it, just sharing memories, asking his daughter to cook with him once a week, letting the feelings out, he found his appetite returning. The flavors came back. Slowly. Gently. But they did. And that's what I want to remind you of today. Taste isn't just physical. It's emotional, too. Food touches the heart before it hits the tongue. And when we take care of our emotional well-being, we often find our taste comes back stronger than ever. So what can you do, starting today? You can begin by being kind to yourself. If you've been feeling disconnected from food, don't rush to fix it all at once. Instead, treat each meal as a small invitation to nourish, to explore, to reconnect. Try lighting a candle at dinner, even if you're eating alone. Play soft music in the background. Choose a plate that makes you smile. Add a little color, a slice of orange, some fresh herbs. Turn meals into moments, not just chores. And if you're sharing meals with others, let yourself talk about the flavors. Reminisce. Laugh. Try something new. Cooking together or even just eating side by side can reignite something in your spirit. You don't have to fake joy, but you can create space for it to return. From a practical perspective, think about variety. If you've fallen into the habit of eating the same meals on repeat, your brain starts to tune out. Spice things up, literally and figuratively. Use garlic, ginger, lemon, vinegar. Add texture, roasted nuts, crispy greens, creamy dressings. Play with hot and cold in the same dish. Even small sensory surprises can reawaken your palate. And if all else fails, go back to basics. What's a food you used to love as a kid? Maybe it was peanut butter toast, or grilled cheese, or a bowl of warm rice with butter. Make it. Not for nutrition, not for health, just for comfort. Let it carry you for a moment. Taste is memory, and memory brings us home. Now, maybe you've been worried, what if my sense of taste never comes back? Here's the truth, it may never be quite the same as it was in your 30s, but it can still bring you joy. You just have to meet it where it is now, not where it used to be. If you're struggling, if nothing tastes right, and it's starting to affect your weight, your mood, or your health, please don't try to push through it silently. Talk to your doctor. See a nutritionist. Ask for a referral to an ear, nose, and throat specialist. There are people who can help. You don't have to live with muted flavor forever. But maybe the most important thing you can do, starting today, is to stay curious. Keep trying. Don't give up on food. Because food hasn't given up on you. The table is still a sacred place. Whether you're sitting alone or surrounded by people, whether you're sipping soup or savoring a square of chocolate, you deserve to taste your life fully. So if something tasted bland today, try again tomorrow. Try it a different way. Try it with music. Try it with company. Try it with love. Because sometimes, the best flavors don't just come from the food, they come from how we show up to receive it. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story. Have you experienced a change in how things taste? What have you done to reconnect with food, with flavor, with yourself? Leave a comment below. Your experience might help someone else feel a little less alone. And if this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. This channel is about aging with awareness, with compassion, and with joy. You deserve that. Every bite of it. Here's to rediscovering the beauty of flavor, one small, delicious step at a time.